It's not you. It's me. Alright, fine. It's you. Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I'm posting lots of new content all the time. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please be sure to do that. It is at _dancing_bookworm. I post on there full book reviews and bookish content. So, it is June now, and normally I do an unhaul in December, like a giant unhaul of all the books that I don't plan on reading again or books that I just don't think I'm going to read in the first place to make room for all the wonderful books that Santa will bring me. However, some books just aren't going to make the cut till December. So the problem is I have officially reached a point where my shelves are so packed that there's not enough room for me to buy more books. And that's a problem, because I like to buy books. Now, I could get a fourth shelf, but then I wouldn't be able to open my bedroom door, and that's also a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhaul 10 books. Now, these aren't the biggest books on my shelf, nor are they the best books for me to be unhauling. I'm sure there are better, but these are 10 books that I've read that just didn't do much for me, and they can go bye-bye. Now, most of these are books that I can donate to my best friend's classroom library because she is getting ready to become a teacher, and she doesn't know what grade she's going to be teaching, so she likes to have a variety all through elementary school age kids to be able to have books for them. So I don't mind donating to them, and I don't mind donating to other people as well, but it is really hard for me to part with my books. So we're starting with a little mini unhaul of 10 books that just aren't going to make it to December. They gotta go. So we're gonna start, and the first book is Sarah Plain and Tall by Patricia McLaughlin. Now, obviously this is not taking up much room on my bookshelf. However, I really only found 9 books that I wanted to unhaul that were big enough to make a difference, and I couldn't find a 10th, and this one doesn't do anything for me, so I'm just going to unhaul it. So this book is about a woman who is answering an ad that a man put out looking for a wife and a mother to his children after he lost his previous wife. It is Sarah who answers the call of the ad, and she moves out to the prairie, plains, lands, all that stuff, to spend 1 month with the children to see how things go, and then she'll make her final decision then, and it is up to Anna and Caleb, the 2 children, to convince her that she belongs with them. So, I read this for the first time in 4th grade. I recently read it a few months ago, and I don't know, it didn't do nothing for me. I thought it was more exciting than it was, and it just kind of fell flat. I can see how it's an easy elementary read, and so I think it needs to go to a school because I just don't need it on my shelves anymore. So the next one is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. This is about an 11-year-old girl who is kind of starting to blossom, 11 or 12, I can't remember, but she's starting to blossom into her teenage years and going through all the changes that girls go through. It is very much a life cycle book. However, this takes place in the 1970s, so the information is not really as accurate as it would be if it was taking place today. However, this is a classic. I just don't need it on my shelf. I'm not an 11-year-old girl anymore. I don't need this information in my life anymore, and yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Margaret goes through her changes and self-discovery of life, love, and religion. It's fantastic. It's a great little journey she goes on. But I'm 28, I've been on that journey, and I'm done. So the next book I have is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is about a girl who moves into a house where she discovers an alternate universe of a family of like doll-esque people who who really want to be her parents and try to convince her that that is the dimension she belongs in, not with her real parents because those parents clearly don't care about her and blah, 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 blah. So I've read this twice now. I read it once in elementary school and once at Barnes & Noble, like just sitting there, I think last year or the year before, and it's weird. it's weird to the point where I don't like it, and I like weird. So, it's weird, it's confusing, it's a little frightening, and I also tried to watch the movie, and yuck, like, the movie was really weird. So, I just don't have anything to say besides that this is an acquired taste, and it's not mine, so it needs to go. So the next one is The Running Dream by Wendelin Van Draenen. This is a book that I was supposed to buddy read with my best friend. I finished it. She didn't. That's right. And so I can see you. She knows who she is. But basically this is about a girl who is a track star, and she has the highest records in her high school and all this stuff, and she gets into a bus accident and loses a leg, and she's kind of redeveloping her life past that. The reason I didn't like this book, and I recently read it, I think I read it in April, and the reason I didn't like it was because everything just was too fast. It was a very plot-driven book, but it was so plot-driven that there wasn't time to breathe or hesitate. It was like, oh, I'm sad. No, I'm not. Oh, this is happening. No, it's not. I need to fix this. Okay, I fixed it. It was very, very fast. And there wasn't a ton of character development, which is really what I read books for. So I think that there's a kid out there that would be inspired by this book, but it wasn't me. Not that I'm a kid, except at heart. But it wasn't me. So I want to donate it to my friend's classroom library, and I'm sure she will donate hers as well. Next one I have is a graphic novel. This is called The Black Mage by Daniel Barnes, and the artistry is by DJ Kirkland. And this is about a boy who is the first black person to enter a school of wizardry and witchcraft, kind of Hogwarts-ish, except that the people at the school are very racist and they want to destroy all black people who have magic. While we are living in this time that we are living in right now, and I think books like this are very important because it's very eye-opening to people who don't understand what anti-racism is and why it's important. I think that this is a great example. However, this plotline was horrendous. I hated the plotline. It jumped from like he's a magical dude and he's got like magic powers and he's friends with this girl, and the girl is so excited that he's there, but they're discovering all these secrets, and then it like flashes back and Frederick Douglass is there, and I don't even know. Like, it just went all over the place. Now, I do think that this book could be empowering for some people because it does have a very strong forge your own path, right from wrong view of thinking kind of thing, and I think it would be great for some people. It just was not my cup of tea because I just did not understand why Frederick Douglass was just coming back. I didn't get it. But I'm sure someone out there will get it. I am also not really a graphic novel person, so a graphic novel has to be like 5 stars or higher for me to want to keep it, and I believe this was only 2 or 3 stars, so I'm going to donate it. I'm sure somebody out there will enjoy it, but it was not me. So the next book is Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist, The Fran with 4 Brains by Jim Benton. This book is super cute. I just finished reading it with my niece, and I have nothing bad to say about it. It was a 4-star read for me. This is about Franny, who is a mad scientist of her own sorts, and she is overwhelmed with all of her after-school activities, so she decides to make 3 robots of herself that take things a step too far. So the reason I read this book is because I really wanted a book that I could read with my niece that was cute and funny, and this she really enjoyed. It's one of the first books that we've read together that she's really gotten a kick out of, so I'm glad that we did read it together. However, she's not interested in hanging on to this book because it's part of a series and she doesn't have the rest of the series, and it's a little too old for her to read by herself still, and I can't really do anything else with this book. I've read it. It's a lot too young for me, but it's still like a little too early middle grade for me to want to hang on to. I just don't see myself reading this again, but I do think that there is a kid out there who loves science who will love this book, so I'm going to give it to my best friend's library because I think that one of her children in her classroom will appreciate it. So for the same reason, I am also going to be unhauling Dear Dumb Diary, Can Adults Become Human Too by Jim Benton. This was my all-time favorite middle grade series growing up. I absolutely love this. I binge read these, and I believe like the summer between 5th and 6th grade, I binge read these. Like, these were the greatest books ever to me. This specific one is about Jamie, who has the diary, and she is kind of seeing all this craziness happen in her school since her aunt started working there. The staff is becoming nicer, and the principal is letting her off the hook for things that she does, and all this stuff. I did not read this one with my niece, so I originally read it just as a read for one of my TBR prompts, and I really enjoyed it. I think that it was really fun, and my original intention was to read it and then read it with my niece. However, I do think the girl is a little too sassy for where my niece is at right now. She is sassy enough on her own. She does not need encouraging. So for that reason, I just don't think she's ready for it. I think it's just a step too old for her, and I also just think that it doesn't like promote the best like ideas of how you should talk to adults. So for that reason, I do think that some kids out there will enjoy this book, and I know I loved this series growing up, and I'm sure there are other kids out there who are going to love this series, but I just don't have any more use for it. It's a little too young for even my middle grade collection, and my niece isn't interested in it, so I'm going to donate it to children who will be able to use it more than me. So the next book that I'm donating, for also similar reasons as the other two, is The Oodle Thunks Una Finds an Egg by Adele Griffin. This is a middle grade that I literally just finished last night, and I really did actually think it was pretty cute. However, I didn't like it as much as the other two. This one specifically is about a cave girl named Una who really wants a pet, and one day she stumbles upon an egg. She takes it home, determined that she's going to hatch it, and it's going to be her pet and her new best friend. However, things take twists and turns with the eggs, and Una is thrown off her game planned for hatching something cute, and also she is worried that it could be something deadly. So this was cute, but again, it's not anything my niece is going to be interested in. She's not interested in cavemen, anything like that, dinosaurs, nothing. That's not her cup of tea. And also, I just feel like this is, again, a first in the series, and I'm not interested in finishing the rest of the series. So there's no real point in hanging on to it on my shelf, where I think that this might inspire somebody else to pick up this book and read it off their shelf. Plus, this is in, like, brand new condition. This was recently given to me by a family friend. Well, it's more like family, I guess. She's my sister-in-law's sister, so. But this was part of a giant book collection that she gave me, which I was super excited about, and I did enjoy reading it. I just don't have any other use for it, so I'm going to give it to my friend's classroom library. The next one isn't super appropriate for my friend's classroom library, but I'm going to be getting rid of it anyway, just because every time it's sitting on my shelf, I just feel a little uncomfy with it, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Now, this book I read twice. I read it once, I want to say late middle school, and once, I want to say 4 years ago maybe, I don't know, like 4 or 3 years ago, I can't remember. But anyway, so this is about a girl who ends up killing herself, and after she kills herself, she sends out cassette tapes to all the people that have wronged her in some way, so they know how they played a part in her suicide. It sounds as twisted as it actually is. Like, that's pretty much why I'm getting rid of it. So as somebody with mental health issues, I want to really enforce that suicide is not anyone else's fault. Like, if somebody kills themselves, it's not your fault that they did that. Like, and I just think that this book, while yes, I'm sure there are some underlying issues that the girl has with other people that lead to this. Like, I know there are people who have killed themselves over being bullied constantly and stuff like that, but I think that there's so many other things mental health wise that need to be looked at before a book like this. And the 13 Reasons Why shouldn't be the only reasons why. I think there's a lot more going on with the main character that doesn't get touched on and doesn't get supported in the book. Also, I am not a fan of the TV series. The TV series is so much different than the book, and also it really glorified suicide in a bad way, and there was a lot of feedback on it that wasn't great. So it just needs to get off my shelf. I've read it twice. both times I've read it, it's made me feel uncomfortable, and there have been times when I'm like, oh, I'll pick that up and read it again, but I really won't, because my opinion is not going to change, and I know this opinion is going to tick off some people, because this is a very well-loved book, but I just think that there are better ways to talk about mental health than in a blaming way, and this is not how it should be done. So I am going to unhaul that one. I will not be donating it to my best friend's library. I will just be unhauling it separately. I have another little stack of unhaul books over here that I'm going to get rid of when they stack up to be enough. Probably donate them to the library or whatever, and that'll go in it. So that brings us to the final book that I will be unhauling, and this one will be going to my best friend's classroom library, and this is Out of the Wild Night by Blue Balliet. Now, if you've watched any of my vlogs or anything, you know that this was my worst read of last month, and probably my worst read of the year. I did not enjoy this at all. This is about a ghost who, I believe her name is Mary, who is trying to save her community houses that have been there for forever, but a mysterious boating accident has made people really wary about the town, and everybody wants change except a group of kids who really want things to stay the same. There's a giant plot twist in this that's supposed to like blow your mind, but it takes forever to actually get there. I didn't enjoy the read. I listened to it on audiobook and read it physically and just could not for the life of me get into it. I thought the writing was boring, and I thought that the whole plot line just was lacking, spike, lack, like that was it. Like there was one spike in the plot line, and that was that. This was also one of the worst rated on Goodreads that I have read from this year. I looked it up and it is not well rated. However, I think there is a group of kids out there that would enjoy this book. I don't know if it won any awards or not. I feel like I read that it won an award and I was like, how? But I do think that this is made for a specific group of kids who really enjoy a good ghost story. However, I am not that person, and I just did not get it, audiobook or physically. I did not understand it. So my friend can have it for her library. She has other Blue Balliet books in her classroom library, so I'm sure they will go nicely together, but not my cup of tea. So anyway, yeah, these are the 10 books that I'm going to be unhauling. A little pre-unhaul. And yes, they are mostly middle grade because I did do this unhaul keeping in mind that my best friend is hopefully going to be starting in a school district next year or as soon as possible, and I wanted to give her some books for her classroom library that she might not have already, and then 13 Reasons Why I just really wanted to get rid of. So here are the 10 books. And, you know, it is sad to give up books because I wish I could own all the books, but realistically, that's just not the case, and if I know I can give books that will make other people happy that I didn't really enjoy or just know I won't read again, then I'm glad that I can give them away to people who need them or will enjoy them more. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.